defense, a decent offense. It is a real surprise. The standings are almost turned upside down. You got the Bears and the Vikings there on top, and the Lions at the bottom with Green Bay in the middle. So, interesting division.
You have seen enough of Tennessee to know that they're just about shot.
I think so, especially with Jake Locker, who's a young quarterback who's provided some leadership for him. He's got a shoulder injury that apparently is worse than suspected. So I think they're gonna battle. I think, yeah.
We're going to take a quick break now on Betstars and Stripes. Of course, Betstar bringing back an old favourite with a double fixed odds from 8 a.m. race day on all Group 1 races. Very, very popular yesterday as well. So make sure you don't miss those on the day of racing. It's very easy to bet on the go with Betstar as well. Head to betstar.mobi and take us on anywhere, anytime. After this break, we'll have a little bit of the education, understanding some of the terminology of the game, but also we've got another one of our league passes to give away for the NFL.
Absolutely. We need to get 2 callers on the line in the next 5 minutes. And they'll be playing off in the Who Am I contest, and the winner of that will get an NFL League pass for the season.
I've got to say, that NFL Game Pass, which you're giving away to one caller every week, it is fantastic because, you know, what are we getting, 4 or 5 games at the moment, but to actually just cherry-pick the games you want to watch, and the quality is outstanding. It is a belt of their Game Pass.
And if you haven't got time, you can watch a condensed version in half an hour. So if you haven't got the 2.5 hours to watch the game, you just watch the highlights package in half an hour. You're done, and you've watched the game. You're across it.
So make sure you first 2 callers on the line, 9429 1116, can be in the running to win one of those. Plenty more to come after this.
This is Bet Stars and Stripes with Dr. Turf, Ed Wyatt and Alice Gander.
Take Betstar on at betstar.com.au. Join Betstar for great odds and awesome products. Ed White, Dr. Turf and Alice Scander here for Betstars and Stripes. We've got our 2 contestants on the line as well to play for our NFL Game Pass. Our first contestant is Tyson in Listerfield. Tyson, good evening.
How you going, lads?
Very well, Tyson.
Good.
We'll get you to a buzzer test straight off the bat, Tyson, which is your name.
Tyson.
Beautiful. And we'll go to Paul in Cranbourne West. Paul, good evening.
Good evening.
And a buzzer from you as well.
Paul.
So Paul and Tyson to lock on. So we got that part of it right. Now, Al, it's over to you.
Beautiful, guys. So obviously, once you've worked out who this person is, then just yell out with the buzzer, and the prize will be yours if you get it correctly. So the first clue is I was born in Amherst, New York. I attended the University of Arizona. I was a second-round NFL draft pick. This is only my 3rd season in the NFL. I wear number 87. This should be a hint that everyone should get after this. This will be good. I am a focal point of Tom Brady's offense. Paul.
Gronsky.
Sorry, say that again.
Gronsky.
No.
Ooh.
Very close, but no cigar. Tyson gets a...
Gronsky, sorry.
No. So I've got one more clue here, and Tyson, you got a free crack at this. So if
And
you
then
get
you're
it,
back in, Paul, after that.
last season I had the most touchdowns by a tight end in NFL history.
Is it? It's pronounced weird. Is it? Gawowski? Is that how it's pronounced?
We're very close, but no one's got it exactly
What about his
right.
first name?
Yes.
What's his first name?
So we're both back in now.
So we're all alive. I've got no more clues. Everyone knows
Just
who it is,
gotta
but
come
no one
up
can
with a
pronounce
name,
it.
guys.
Paul.
Paul, go for it.
What's his name? Sorry. Rob Gronsky. Rob Gronsky.
He'd probably answer to it, but it's not right. What are you going to do, Al? We talked about him, did we not?
We did.
We
Five
did.
5 minutes ago.
We did.
So Rob is correct.
Ron. The Gronsky.
Yeah, that's.
I'd pay
We'll give you that, Paul. You got close enough on that one. We'll give you that. So it's Rob Gronkowski is the exact.
Gronkowski. Sorry.
Yes. Well done, Paul. So if you hang on the line, mate, Tim will grab all your details, and someone from the BetStar offices will be in contact with you tomorrow, and we'll set up a NFL Game Pass for you for the remainder of the season and the playoffs.
Well done, Paul. So he's just one syllable short. Is really
It's wrong.
all he was there. So.
It's wrong. Is it not?
Rob Gronkowski.
Hey, did you like the Rams on Thursday night?
Was a great performance.
Yeah,
it's a
they're-
very solid team. That's Jeff Fisher. Look,
Young
he's a
team.
great coach. He was the longest serving coach in the NFL when he was at Tennessee. He's doing a really nice job with that team.
Couple of SMSs before we look at the education. Revis ACL will kill the Jets D, Brad in Bentley. And also along those same lines,
Right.
Foster Tate and Johnson will run riot against the Jets D.
Yeah.
Jets have no Revis.
Yeah, well, there you go. Darrell Revis, one of the best
Out.
defensive backs in the league, done for the year. But, yeah, look, on paper, absolutely.
And Brad says, how does a team with Breeze and Jimmy Graham play so badly?
Defense can't stop anybody. That's part of the problem.
And
Important part of what you do in defence, I
It
suspect, as well.
certainly is.
where are we here? Washington Nest in line to win their first championship since 1933. Greg from West.
The Washington Nationals, yes, back to baseball. The first postseason ball in D.C. since 33. The Senators were there for a while. They became the Texas Rangers, but the Senators were terrible. Because, in fact, the Orioles just were the dominant team, and the Senators were just a joke. So
huge
it's
year,
amazing.
the Nationals.
They've had a
Huge
great
year.
year. It's a really good story. Overshadowed by a lot of other good stories because baseball's had so many of them this year, without a doubt.
And just one earlier off the top of the show in regards to NBA. As a Hornets fan last year, it was hard work after losing Chris Paul, but with Eric Gordon fit and the arrival of Anthony Davis and Austin Rivers, the future is very bright. Can't wait. Glenn in Montreux.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it's a couple years away, but absolutely. I agree.
And time for the education, where we sheds a little bit of light on some of the terminology of the game. People might be new to NFL and they're picking it up as they go along. And this segment basically helps you get a grasp on some of the finer concepts and the technicalities of the sport.
That's very well explained, Darren. Is that what it is? Okay.
I think that's what it is.
I thought tonight, just quickly, because a lot of people always ask me about the NFC and the AFC and why they're named that and why we have these divisions. The NFL, 32 teams, and it's split into two divisions, the AFC and the NFC. The NFC essentially contains most of the old original teams that win the old NFL, the Redskins, the Giants, the Packers, the Bears. These teams are around since the 30s. The AFL, ironically, was a league that started in the 60s, a competitive league that had the Jets and the Chargers and the Chiefs and the Patriots. They essentially forced a merge in 1970 and came into the NFL. And what they decided to do was keep the old NFL teams as the NFC and the old AFL teams as the AFC. And what you'll notice is the teams in the NFC have the bigger markets, the bigger TV markets. So your New Yorks and Washingtons and places like that.
Did they not dominate the Super Bowl for a number of years?
Well, that's when the New York Jets, remember Super Bowl III, the whole Joe Namath thing. That's why it was such a big deal. That's the first Super Bowl that was won by an old AFL team. That's why it was so big.
I think that AFL story is one of the ESPN documentaries, actually.
I think
30 for 30s.
Yeah, I think
one
there
of the
was
30
one
for
about how they worked. But so essentially they've come together. They've done some shuffling now, and with new teams like Carolina and Jacksonville, it's changed. But essentially your old, traditional Packers, Bears, those sorts of teams, they're in the NFC because they were in the original NFL, and then the expansion teams from the AFL, the Chargers, the Chiefs, people like that in the AFC.
And
That's essentially how it works.
Where does the Lingerie Football League sit in that
Well,
span?
they're trying to force a merge too at some point, but I think we're not going to see that necessarily in the near future.
Off the SMS, the Baltimore AFC favourites to win championship games. Go Ravens. David from Point Cook.
Good question, Al. Or the Ravens? Where are they looking in terms of the
Just shut up about the Ravens.
the AFC market? I guess they would look. They would be. I would suggest off the top of my head, I would think they would probably be a favorite, if not close.
It's actually the first week I didn't bring the conferences, but it'll be on our website, betstar.com.au.
Yep.
It's the first week that I didn't bring the conferences, so I can't answer that question off the top of my head.
But they would be in there. I would say Houston and Baltimore probably. But yeah, go to the website and have a look.
Given the fact that
They are $9.50 to win the Super Bowl.
They were $14. I mean, they'll be favoured to win their conference for sure.
Yeah.
I'll jump online and see if I can get that answer very, very shortly. We might take another quick break in the meantime. Whilst we're waiting for that, we'll also have studs and duds on the other side of this. A look at the weekend's games as well. Betstars and Stripes, thanks to Betstar. Take Betstar on at betstar.com.au. A Scandus Betstar proud.
This is Bet Stars and Stripes with Dr. Turf, Ed Wyatt and Alice Gander.
Welcome back to Bet Stars and Stripes. Alaskander, Ed Wyatt and Dr. Turf. Just those markets for the AFC champions. Houston are favourites at 285, New England 375, and then you find Baltimore at 475. And those three sides are a long way clear of the rest. Denver at 12 is the next in that order of betting. Studs and duds as we're up to next on Bet Stars and Stripes. So we'll get you all to deliver one of each, but we'll start off with the studs and Ed Wyatt first up.
Yeah, start positively. Before we get in bashing people. I'm going to go with Brian Hartline. He's a wide receiver out of Ohio State for the Miami Dolphins. Not the fastest guy in the world, but good hands, good route running. He had a career day in the Dolphins. Real good effort against Arizona. It was a 24-21 overtime loss, but he caught 12 passes for 253 yards and a touchdown, which is a remarkable performance.
Turfy, you're next.
Yeah, I'll go for J.J. Watt, and I guess one of the reasons for the Texans being undefeated at the moment it would be J.J. Watt. He last week hit 2 sacks, a fumble recovery, 3 tackles. It's a pretty important game there for J.J. Watt, and he's had a great first 4 weeks.
And I'm going to go with Peyton Manning, quarterback for the Broncos.
Yes.
Vintage Manning is getting pretty close to some of his best form. He enjoyed his most efficient game as a Bronco. He had 30 of 38 passes for 338 yards. He had 3 touchdowns for Denver's 37-6 smashing of the Raiders. He had 7 different Denver receivers caught at least 2 passes. So he spread the ball wide, and they caught it for him, and he had a cracking game.
And I guess his arm is, as we talked about last week, is okay, dog. And he's all right.
His neck all right.
Yeah, and I think his neck's okay, too. At least the Oakland Raiders found that out.
And now to be a little bit harder, those that didn't have a great week, the duds of the week. Teams, players, defences, whatever it may be.
Duds. I could give this to the regular referees, but I won't. I'll go with the Buffalo Bills defense. Signed Mario Williams in the offseason, $100 million. They're really pumping up the defense. Didn't exactly work against New England. Allowed 35 straight second-half points in that loss to the Patriots. So they really need to tighten things up in Buffalo.
I'm going for Tony Romo as my dud of the week, Dallas' quarterback. Look, he did actually throw 5 magnificent passes against Chicago last week, but unfortunately all of them hit Chicago players. He had a shocker, Tony Romo.
A couple of them were actually quite comical as well. A couple of the spills and
terrible for our
He's
Dallas
just
fans out there. It's going to be a tough year. Another roller coaster
How long does
ride.
Jerry cop that?
We mentioned that last week.
Yeah.
I can't see him doing it beyond this year. I really can't. They got to make changes.
While we're having a crack at some quarterbacks, I'm going to have another crack at Mark Sanchez, and I'm going to stay on his back. I'm going to stay on his back until he turns it around. He got smashed against. Last week when they got smashed 34-0 against the 49ers. He passed for just 103 yards. He threw an interception, lost a fumble, and was sacked 3 times. And that's unacceptable in anyone's language as a starting quarterback.
And let's get the word out that we're targeting those guys over there. We're ready, studs and duds.
He's had a tough time. I mean, obviously not only on BetStars and Stripes, but I was watching ESPN throughout the week on Foxtel. Jeez, they gave it to Sanchez, didn't they? That was just the focal point of virtually every NFL show I watched all week.
Yeah, well, the whole off season was spent basically Tebow coming to New York and how is this thing going to work? So the second it's gone south, the media machine cranks up again. It's kind of a Melbourne footy type thing in New York. It's like full on.
What does he do, Tebow, whilst he's not playing?
I don't know. Preaches? Yeah, I don't know.
But
He's working out.
It's not like he's playing in the Magoos or anything.
Yeah, no. Oh, no. He takes snaps and reps. They call it reps, repetitions. Take some snaps and some reps, and you study a lot of film and you get ready to play.
It's just my imagination, or were there some horrible snaps last week?
There were some. Yeah, there were some.
I saw at least 3 that went along the ground.
I'm trying to remember Green Bay. Remember when Aaron Rodgers went out and they brought in, I think, Graham Harrell, the backup. Bang, fumble, bad snap, which is, one of my things that I always hated for years. It's changing a little bit. It was they would never play the second string quarterback. About 45-0. Brady's still be in the game. It's like, why don't you get the backup guy some reps, some snaps? So it's starting to change a little bit.
Off topic a little bit, gentlemen. The NHL, they've pushed back their season 2 weeks.
Yeah.
This is a very dangerous side. It's like being at an airport. You know when they delay your flight by 20 minutes? You know this is the tip of the iceberg. It's not going to be delayed by 20 minutes.
Yeah, right.
It will keep going. They did the same thing with the NBA in their lockout. It was sort of, it's a couple of weeks we pushed it back, and then a couple more weeks, and they lost plenty more time than they first envisaged.
The NBA had Boxing Day, didn't they? That was their cut-off.
Yes.
I think